All right, I think we're going live right now. Let's
What
see.
I see. Hmm.
Cool. All right, here we go, folks.
Shout out my boy, CMac, BKLYN, let's go, let's go. This is how we do it, kicking it with Charlie Mac. His bulldog Vicky, only thing he love more than his stack. It may be the Brooklyn way, but he spread it worldwide. This army boy from NYC got hella Irish pride. Catch him on YouTube doing precious metal reviews. Oh, we the silver degenerate performing an interview. You know we could take a walk up to the Brooklyn Bridge and back. Yeah, this is how we do it, kicking it with Charlie Mac. Yeah, this is how we do it, kicking it with Charlie Mac. We could hit the corner store just to grab ourselves a snack. You know that there's nothing better than just hanging with a friend, especially when you do it in BKLYN. And he your first responder, C-Max here to say the day. Don't forget to spread that love, cause it's the Brooklyn way. It ain't just a slogan, homie, that right there's a fact. Cause this is how we do it, kicking it with Charlie Mac.
Ah, here we go, folks. What is up? What is up? What is up? We got a lot of people in here today. We got a whole crew of community members. That song gets me so hyped. Got a little gold we're gonna show off today. Got a little silver that we're gonna show off today. A lot of people here. We're gonna have to go through all these intros real quick. I think you know who I am. Let's get to know all of the people. First off, Katie. Hello. How are you?
Sup? Hey, Charlie. Hey,
What
pals.
is up?
Hey, everyone
What
in
is,
here.
what's up? What's up? What's up? So tell the people where you're from, all about you.
All right, all right. I'm like Charlie, a fellow Brooklynite. I've been out here 7 years. I got into coin collecting and stacking about 2 years ago from watching Pawn Stars, of all things. That was my pandemic binge. And I'd collected comic books and magic cards throughout earlier in my life. And I was like, oh, I like collecting things. I got out of collecting both of those. I wanted a new thing to get into. I entered and exited the magic world as prices were going wild. So I didn't want to like jump back in with that sort of price memory. And so I was watching Pawn Stars, saw Rick buying lots of coins and gold and silver. I'm like, oh, that's cool. There must be like some sort of collector community in there. Spent some money on eBay on coins and been doing that ever since. So I kind of got more into bullion stacking in the beginning, and now I'm getting more into coins. So that's why I'm on the numismatics side of this conversation. And I am a armchair American historian. I really love 19th century history, and having coins and physical relics to go along with it is pretty awesome. So
Awesome.
that's a starting point for me.
Cool. You know, I gotta say, fellow Brooklynite, obviously we gotta get you up first. You know that.
Yo,
Also, you, if I'm not mistaken, have a lot of really good, important news now as well, right? We'll talk a little bit, about coins and bullion, but
I
you gotta
do.
represent
So
principles.
principles, my GI coffee house. I'm a veteran, so I'm opening a like veteran woman-owned coffee shop here in Brooklyn, in Gowanus on 9th Street and 3rd Ave. So I'm picking up keys on Saturday, walking into the space on Sunday, building out for about 6 weeks, and stay tuned for like a mid-June soft opening.
Very, very cool, folks. Make sure if you are in the Park Slope, Brooklyn area, you gotta check it out. Definitely gonna be fun.
And
Your
we'll be
soft.
hosting a Silver Degenerates meetup
You
probably
beat
later in the summer.
me to it. I was gonna say when is the degenerate meetup? We gotta do something. Awesome,
Yeah, I've
great
been
news.
talking to Tommy about it. and
Very cool.
just planting some seeds so far. But we're gonna do something for sure.
Aw- Awesome, awesome. All right, we're gonna go through this list. So we got a lot of cool people here today. I wanted to take a few minutes, get it to know the community members, get to know the people that are stacking, and we're gonna talk a little bit about what's best to stack. Papa Yaga, hello. What's up?
How's it going? How's it going? Thanks for
Pretty
having me.
good. No problem, my friend. So tell the people a little bit, who you are, where you're from, and what side you're gonna be debating and sticking up for today.
Okay, all right, man. My name's Logan. My real name's Logan. I go by Papa Yaga or Boogaloo Bullion on IG. Um, I'm from Florida. First of all, Space Coast. I started stacking pre-COVID. I moved back from Colorado to Florida, and I had a boat, and I sold it, which doesn't make sense. You move to Florida and sell a boat, but anyway, I wanted to tie my money up in something, and I just saw. I always thought of gold, but instead of gold, I got a bunch of silver, and then I started going through IG, and I saw a few people on IG selling silver and pouring silver, and I was like, "Whoa, this is really cool!" And then I saw that there was a community attached, basically, just because of like the way Instagram works, and I kind of got more into it and started reaching out to the people, and previous to this, I dealt with ball pythons on Instagram, so I already kind of had trust on Instagram because that can be kind of a strange thing for people. And then I guess I'm gonna stick up for the poured bullion. Like, 'cause, I like it all. I don't want to get too into it, but I have some stuff I wrote down for this.
Okay, yeah, no,
Basically.
absolutely. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So yeah, like I would say like uh, I had like, just to put it like I don't really look at silver like maybe some people do. Each like each coin and each thing, like I kind of try to have a bigger outlook on the silver, and kind of do like at least the mentality of like a wholesale mentality. Like I don't always expect those deals as a consumer. I understand overhead and premiums and just paying to store it and pick it up and ship it and all that kind of stuff. People got to
Mhm.
cover that to make their money back at least when they're doing this as a business. So I don't like expect to beat people over the head, but I always have that mentality when I'm looking for stuff.
No,
Um,
absolutely makes sense.
but yeah, I agree. I think yeah, I agree with my statement though earlier. Just I like the port silver. I got to stick up for it. Why? Just because the fact that it could have been something else beforehand, and who knows what it was, and now it's this new thing, and then it kind of has a piece of someone's identity with it, whoever made it or whatever. And I like that a lot.
Cool, absolutely. All right, we also have Michael, 7K medals in the house. What is up? Another New Yorker from Staten Island. We're so sorry you're from Staten Island, but we still love you. How are you, my friend?
Whoops, wrong borough.
Wrong borough. Your microphone. Your mic. Michael, your microphone is out. I don't know what happened. Maybe a log out, log back in should do the trick. Sometimes we have gremlins in the machine, folks. We will figure it out. Um, very, very weird. All right, Isaiah,
Yeah.
what's
So,
up?
what's up, Charlie? Thanks for
What's
having me
going
on.
on? No problem. So tell the people a little bit of where you're
Sure.
from, what you're into, and what side of the debate you're taking today.
Yeah, so I'm Isaiah. You might know me as the Slab King, Father Haggy, a couple other Instagram nicknames. But so basically, I'm from West Michigan, Grand Rapids, and I started collecting 10 or so years ago, started dealing about 5 years ago. Got on Instagram back in, oh gosh, that was summer of 2016 in the community. So this was pre-silver degenerates. This was basically right. I've been here since the get-go, since the community started on IG. So it's been amazing to see how the community's grown. But yeah, anyway, so I've been dealing for about 5 years. VAMS Plus LLC. Morgan dollar varieties, mistake error coins, all kinds of slabs. I do counterfeit presentations all the time. But yeah, so I'll definitely be numismatics for this.
Awesome. And if I remember correctly, I think I did add it in the chat. VAMS, GoDaddySites.com is your website, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Check it
Awesome.
out. Counterfeit research all over the place on there. Sample slabs, you name it.
And you know, I thank you. You've actually been on the show before. I appreciate you. A lot of knowledge, a lot of facts. I got a lot of questions, folks. So you know, we're gonna jump into it. I do want to get everybody here. You know, say a quick hello. I'm gonna try once again. Let's see if we get Michael back in. Michael. Michael, we could see you, but we can't hear you. Michael, you might have to. Let's see. Michael, at the bottom
headphones
settings.
in. If you put
Sometimes the
headphones in
settings,
too, it helps.
Or yeah, the settings, the microphone. If you're gonna use your iPhone or headphones, probably the best bet. Sometimes you just gotta change that over. And I saw my good friend driving, Mr. David Drums. Drums in the house. Drums, can you hear us? Drums is driving. I don't want Drums to get a ticket. I teach highway safety, defensive driving. I don't want them to get in trouble. We'll try get him in a second. Just might be a microphone issue. Folks, once again, Charlie Mac here. Get to know the people. Get to see the equipment when it works. Catch me on Instagram. I do want to thank you all for jumping in. I'm going to go like the full screen that we can get this going. So once again, topic today, bullion or numismatics, right? That's the question. So are we going to talk about bullion or numismatics? We're going to talk about both. I like my 10-ounce bars. I also like my Morgan. So it's, you know, it's a tough one to debate. I'm going to try and moderate. Looks like we got Michael back. I don't know.
Can you guys hear me?
There you go. There you go, buddy.
We can hear you loud and clear. We can
Yes.
hear you now.
Yes, sir. Can you hear us? Michael, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. I'm here.
Okay, cool. Michael, so tell the people a little bit about where you're from, the type of work that you're in, sales.
Yeah, kind of break.
Michael?
Down here.
Losing you, buddy. Michael, we're losing you. Sorry. I don't know if that's just your connection or the device. All right. It's all right. We'll get back to you. We'll make sure we get our hellos and everything in. And looks like we lost Drums as well. Those things happen, folks. So sorry. We'll get them in. You know, so I went through these items right here. I'm just going to talk a little bit about prices real quick, and then I'm going to hit you all with some questions. So I went to macro trends, and I just kind of looked at some things, you know, over the past couple of decades with prices, because people want to know, what should I stack? Where should I put my money? Should it be numismatics or just bullion? So in 1972, an ounce of silver was $1.68 and gold was $58 per ounce. Jumping into the next decade, silver was at close to $8 an ounce and gold hit $3.76. 1992, it's in high school. I should have been collecting then. A little of $4. 2000 went up again. Gold was at like $3.10 an ounce. We go back one decade. Silver, $31 an ounce. Gold is at $16.68. So you can kind of see, you know, the markets, watch them. You know, where can you watch them in Kitco? So I think the best way to do this is I'll just kind of go through each person, kind of ask same questions for most. What do you feel are the benefits for stacking your specific bullion or numismatics? So I'm gonna go through. Katie, have you first?
Yeah. So let's say it's the late 70s, early 80s. You're getting into silver. It's a great time. And you pour all your money into silver bullion. How much money do you have now? What are your gains or losses? Yeah, anyone?
Yep.
So anyway,
Okay.
the point I'm trying to make is the sort of fickle nature of silver. So had you bought silver in the late 70s into the early 80s, you were probably paying about $35 or $40 an ounce. And if you had that today, you'd be at negative $15 for every ounce of silver you got. And that's over 40 years. So that's a pretty dismal return on investment. Which I know this is one time that was the Hunt brothers trying to corner the market. We've seen shenanigans like this before, but looking at the historic prices of silver, certainly, there's not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it. So I think as a long-term, purely financial investment, it may not make the most sense. However, there's great people who do really good timing on the market, and if someone had bought all their money in silver 2.5 years ago, right now they'd be sitting at a huge profit. So if we're trying to compare that to, say, an ETF or an index fund for the stock market, these things are generally going up over time, whereas silver depends on where on the pendulum you jump in. So all that to say that on the other end of it, numismatics have a little bit more staying power. You're not going to see too wild of swings, but there's a general trend upwards, especially my area of interest in numismatics, 19th century and 18th century American coinage. We're not making any more of it. So not only is the collectability of it going up as more people get interested, as we're seeing, Stacks and Heritage hitting record highs and record interest in their auctions as of late. But as more people get into it, they're going to be chasing fewer and fewer products, because we can't go back and make 1909 SVDB dimes, pennies, cents.
Mm-hmm.
We can't go make any bust quarters. What's there is there. So that is my case, but I have more to say, but I'll take a pause.
Sure. It's funny, actually, because I went back and forth on this, and I always like hearing you speak and a lot of other people speak, because I know who's smarter than me, and I know who's able to articulate things in a way for me to understand. Like, I agree. Like, I have a Carson City numismatic piece. They're not making any more of these. That's it. You get it. That's it. You put it to the side. So I kind of fall, on both sides of this coin, if you like that pun. And then when we, kind of talk about bullion, right? I like my 10-ounce bars. Logan, I like Papa Yaga. It just sounds so badass. You can melt this down, right? You can melt this down. You can make something else. Logan, Papa Yaga, the boogeyman. What do you feel? What do you feel are the benefits of stacking bullion?
I mean, she kind of threw me through a loop there. It was pretty cool what she said. I mean, I get it, but I think that some of the hand-poured bullion kind of share the same effect, just based off the fact that most of it is done basically in a garage by a single guy. What he can make, and that guy's got an expiration date. It's just not a mint. He's not a company, So eventually, when the man passes away or whatever, heaven forbid, I think it's going to have that same type of effect immediately. Jaeger poured silver is already kind of like that, if you ask me. Like some of his pieces, Some people, yeah, they might look at them like any other pieces, but most people that I've seen, they you know, they're like, oh my gosh, I need to get a hold of this. And I mean, for the simple fact that it might be a little bit more available than the numismatic stuff, which is like it is more coveted and it's kind of harder to get into a little bit for somebody like me because it kind of comes with that like that guild vibe, you know. And that's the other thing about, not to like put that down, but that's the other thing I do like about poured silver is the cultural like vibes that kind of pulls me in and other people in. Like, here's something right here I got from Silver Stackaholic, and this is just like a point, not even, you know, this is like a quarter of an ounce, but it's a little Viking head, and it's just so cool. And I'll probably never, ever, ever get rid of it because it doesn't even make sense for me to sell something like this. But see, that's a whole nother reason why to stack, and that type of value is a little bit more than money to me, you know? It's like a memory and everything, you know? And this kind of stuff, like silver in general, numismatics and all the silver, you know, it's God's money, man. It's the money of the earth. It's like it's gonna be here. You know, it's real money. It's not fiat paper money. We all talk about that. You know, it's very elusive. Like, you know, like this is some narco stuff, bro, and it keeps the power in the hands of the people, and it calls for integrity too because it's extremely valuable. You know, you walk into some of these local coin shops, some of those guys are ready to pull a strap on you real quick because that's, you
Yeah.
know, they're not gonna wait for the cops to come around because that stuff in there can be worth millions, you know, that's sitting in their shelves. So the whole thing is fascinating. The whole business, even in a global sense, all the drama that has been, you know, tied in with silver and gold over the years, like from, you know, some of the things that we don't like to talk about, like slaves and gold mines and silver mines in places that aren't regulated, and, you know, and them getting mixed up with major companies like JM and Engelhard and all those things. And that's another thing that makes those pours so cool to me and fascinating, you know, like you never know who, what, where, when, and why was going on with some of these things. Same with the numismatics, you know, like where's this coin been? Like it's a mystery. I like that it's a mystery, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm gonna give it to Michael one more shot to see if I can get you. I can hear you, Mike. Can you hear us? No, I think we lost him. Michael, I'm sorry. You know that's it. 3 strikes. You're out of here. Goodbye. Uh, so sorry. Those
Yeah.
technical glitches. And it's funny because I know some of you are gonna laugh because some of you know me personally. I'm a stickler for time and I'm stickler for the rules. I always say get in early so we can test everything.
Yep.
So Isaiah, you know, that kind of brings us to you on this debate. What do you feel are the benefits of stacking?
Yeah, so as a dealer's perspective that I do both coins and bullion, let me kind of round out what everybody's been saying so far. You know, everybody so far has raised really good points. I mean, on one hand, you've got coins, and there's a lot of history behind them, and you know, you it's always curious to me when I get ancient coins in, for example, and I think like, who's held these? Like, what was this used to buy 2,000 years ago? You know, 3,000 years ago. But then I get a poured piece of silver, and there's a lot of sentimental value behind that. You know, I've got some MK stuff in my safe. I ended up meeting and having dinner with Michael down at Fun with a bunch of the silver degenerates, and that was awesome. You know, so I can see both sides to it. But on a dealer perspective, I find numismatics a lot easier just because the value in rare coins, and like on both sides you have pieces like they're not making any more 2021 gold eagles, they're not making any more, you know, SVDB cents, but rare coins, because they're not as tied to the spot price of silver, which can be very, and you know, in gold, which can be very easily manipulated, as we've seen in the past 3 weeks, month. So I just find rare coins to be a lot better of, I don't like to say investment, just because of, you know, the common date Morgan dollars that Wall Street's bought, and then that's crashed the price. But rare coins to me hold value a lot better, not only because of the history, but because they're not really tied to any volatile standard. They're held to their own standard, which really doesn't go down over time. It only goes up as pieces are melted. I mean, with pours, you can pour a bunch of different, you can pour unlimited different stuff. But with rare coins, once it's melted, it's gone. It's just gone. And I get with pours, once you melt the pour, it's gone as well. But you can recreate. I mean, you can recreate stuff. You can make copies. You can make recreations of it. Round twos, if you will. But with rare coins, it's a once and done thing.
Absolutely. I got a follow-up question pretty much for everybody on just preparation, whether you are going to stack numismatics or whether you're going to stack any bullion. What is the proper way to kind of prepare, I guess, your storage, if you will? I'm gonna go to Katie first.
Yeah, so it's funny that you frame it specifically as storage. As someone who, like I said, comes from comics and Magic cards, both of those are very condition-driven markets. So long as your 10-ounce bar, as long as all 10 ounces of it are there, it's going to pretty much hold its value. You're not going to have like a near mint bar and a played bar, for example, or a well-worn bar. So coming from comics and collectible cards, keeping things in good condition is paramount. So pretty early on, I got really interested in just keeping coins in their best environment. So I think an interesting side conversation would be within numismatics of like, are we going raw coins, ungraded coins? Are we going encapsulated coins? And like the particular collector in me who likes storage and protection is really into slabbed coins. And especially there's so much variety in those. There's so many rabbit holes you can go down in different companies that did slabbing and grading and how they've gone under, or some have stayed around, and different generations of each slabber. So I think that stuff is really cool. And so as far as specifically storage and protection of coins, I'm a big fan of that, because also I like having things be kind of neat and orderly, and slabs, for a wide range of coins, all the slabs are always going to be the same. Whether I'm doing a Morgan dollar or a half dime, my slab all stacks up the same. So that just to me is pleasant as far as the aesthetics of keeping a collection. And
it's funny because the public cannot see the comments, but everybody is saying how some very, very nice things about you. Especially Isaiah with slabbing, because I have a Morgan here which is loose, and I don't care, I can hold it. It's a cull, where I got a BU Britannia, which is in here, and I'm gonna take it out, and touch it with my hands, which most people are like, don't do that, I'll kill you. So I really wish I had some information when I first started stacking, because I literally just threw all my stuff in a box, put it in a bag, threw it in a box, just threw it all over the place. And I didn't care. I really didn't care about toning. I'm not a toner kind of person. But I did ding up a lot of my coins originally, both bullion pieces and numismatics. Isaiah, let's kind of get your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So storage, I guess I'll go off of the slabbing. And I won't get into much detail, but all the slab history is just fascinating to me. Now, thinking along the lines more of storage and storing up wealth, I guess, to transition into your question, Charlie. So, I'm a college student. You can probably see behind me, this is my dorm room. And so as a college student, for me, rare coins to me is more of a business where I'll make money this goes to fund my tuition, funds more coins. But then I sit here and I call myself a numismatist. Rare coins is my passion, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm saving silver and gold. I mean, it's a good storage of wealth, and it's a good storage idea, especially if you don't like having cash and you don't like having that paper. If you want something tangible, but you don't want it to be, if you want it to be very liquid, I guess I should say, if you want it to be liquid but not inflation prone paper, go with the bullion. I mean, I'm stacking silver and gold, and every once in a while, tuition bill comes up, and I'll sell it. And I'll pay my tuition. Whereas rare coins being my passion, that's the stuff that goes into the safe, and I keep it for enjoyment, or I'll turn it and I'll move it and I'll make money on it, and then I'll buy more stuff. So at the end of the day, storage wise, it really comes down to what you like. And then even so, and then back into the slabs again, slabbing and raw, they slab bullion, they slab coins, they do both. So that part really comes down to personal preference. I know a lot of people that like to hold their coins raw, and that's all they do is they like to hold them raw. And I can appreciate that. I've got both raw and slabbed here. But then there's also the part of slabbing, like, it's so much easier to store stuff if you've got it if it's a standard size. You can put it in a box, you can stack it up, literally stack it up, and it's a standard size that you can quickly count for inventory. So I find both sides to be pretty equally, I guess I should say, equally. What's the word I'm looking for? We'll just go with a good
equally
investment.
equal.
Equally equal. There, we'll go with that. There are different. I'll just end with, there are different aspects to each of them, and it really comes down to what you're looking to get out of it.
I agree.
Awesome. I didn't even think about that too. Like with the tubes. A lot of times, you get your 20 to a tube. You're handling them, in and out of there, and some people do not care. Papa Yago, what about you? Preparations for stacking and storage.
He made a lot of good points, but I think it's a spin off of his quickly. Different, like you said, slabs and just bullion. You move them differently. Like, you could basically have bulk bullion and liquidate that and don't think about it. It's all different, yada yada. But with the slabs, you can take those a little bit more serious and slow, and you can decide, like he said, they have just more authenticity. That's like easier to sell and buy. People know, and 90% silver you don't really melt because it's not pure. Like, people don't like to play with that stuff. But I am, now to get away from that, I am the kind of person who melts silver, so I had to learn to become comfortable with touching my silver, taking it out of the bag, and I'm one of the people who does the horribly heinous and also beautiful thing of melting rare coins to make everyone else's coins more valuable, and take some out of the circulation to make other things equally as valuable, but different. That's a controversial topic on its own, but and the way I store my bullion, it's two different ways. If it's something that's special and kind of cased up or slabbed, I'll stick it in the safe, But if it's bullion and it's not like in a tube or anything, or in a slab, then it goes into a massive, to be honest, it goes into a massive treasure chest that I have, a wooden treasure chest with velvet. And I have these things you can get on the internet that you put in like a pack, and it keeps the moisture out, and so it's kind of like it keeps it nice and dry in the box, so basically it doesn't tone. And I don't like, I kind of stack it somewhat neatly, but I don't mess jostle it up and all that. But it's just, I think two different ways to store it, like that. I don't recommend ever using a safety deposit box though.
I didn't even think about that. What you're saying about taking rare coins out of circulation. That's something to really think about as well. Yeah, gonna give these guys one last shot. It looks like I got both of them in. Let me see if I get drums. Drums, are you there? Are you driving? Is the highway officer pulling you over?
I literally just pulled in the driveway, man.
Awesome. There we go, folks. Our
We can
good
hear
friend.
you.
So I do got. So you can hear me? I'm good.
Mm-hmm. David Drums, folks. So tell the people where you're from. What kind of stuff you're into. Kind of putting you on the spot. I know you're coming right out of the car.
Yeah. I'm in Jersey now, but I'm originally from PA, not too far from where I'm at in Jersey now.
Awesome. And what side of the debate do you fall on? Are you collecting bullion or numismatics?
I caught a little bit of what the last guy was just saying. I think it was actually Isaiah was just saying.
I think we lost him again. All right, we'll try Michael. Michael, are you there? Can you hear us? He's got the goods, it looks like.
I can hear you.
There we go. I can hear you perfectly now. I guess not. Nope, we lost him. Michael, I don't know, buddy. Sorry. We're gonna try another episode with you guys, folks. So sorry. We're just gonna keep it to the core. We are back down to 3, it seems. So one of the other things I kind of wanted to talk a little bit is about how are numismatics valued, because that's important, and then how is bullion valued? Because I think most people may know or have a general idea. Love to hear everybody's input. Katie?
Yeah, numismatics, I think has a lot of touch points for deciding value. We have so many local coin shops that sell coins, so many coin dealers online and offline. We got coin catalogs, buying and selling stuff. There's Heritage, there's Stacks, there's eBay. There's so many auction houses. So there's a lot of data points to collect values on coins. And we've also got Red Book and the Blue Book and Gray Sheet. So there's pretty standardized methods and modes of pricing things out. Which I think there's a lot of information for people to work with. And the more information someone can gather, then the more informed of a decision they can make. Whereas bullion and various other kinds of silver poured and whatnot, it's largely based on the market price of silver at any given point, which is a little frightening because it's just one thing that the price is tethered to. And you do have those breakout creators or poor artists whose pieces gain some notoriety of their own, but not unlike visual artists and other artists in general. For every 100, every 1,000 artists that exist, you may have one stand out. Not every modern artist is going to be Banksy. Not every classical artist is going to be Van Gogh. So there's going to be a lot of duds in there, which I think the corollary in numismatics is common date, common condition coins versus rare dates, rare mint marks, stuff of that nature. So in both realms, there's a gradient of the values. And the liquidity is an issue we've brought up a few times. What is most interesting, what I find really interesting as someone who has some slight knowledge of vintage poured silver, and that's the thing that I'm really fascinated by, but I don't know enough about that market, nor do I have enough money to get into that realm of collecting. Whereas we're talking about, say, for government mints, you may have a Kookaburra or a Panda, which may be a couple dollars premium, versus US mint or Mexican mint has, $5, $10, $15 premiums. And then you get into some of these vintage bars, and they're at like $200, $300, $400 premiums. So in that case, it's completely detached. But then these are like really, really niche areas of collecting that if you can find the people willing to pay the prices, these things are very expensive and very sought after. But they're really hard to find the people interested in them and the people interested enough to spend that money. And you got to have multiple people interested in spending that amount of money so there's some degree of competition in it. Whereas in rare coins, there's always multiple people interested and able to buy these sorts of things. I think the top end of bullion collectors taps out at a lot lower price range than the top end of rare coin collectors. And we can see that just by recent auction prices realized that, we had the 33 double eagle sell, the hammer price was around $18 million. And already this year, there's been half a dozen other coins to break the $1 million mark. When was the last time we saw any pure bullion sell for that much, or any poured silver sell for that much? So anyway, I'm veering off now, so I can pass it off to the next.
No, very good points that you make too on that. So I have one little piece here. It's kind of probably going to be a little hard to get. And watching the trends and the prices in the market, Jaeger poured silver, old school. Some people know them, some don't. I know Logan is probably going to try and catch me in the streets after this to take my Jaeger poured silver. This is only one little tiny ounce. When I got this, I think maybe I paid about $13, give or take. Logan, what do you think? That's deal or no deal? $13 for Jaeger poured silver?
Crazy good deal. Yeah.
Buy all day long.
Buy it all day long.
Yeah, I'll buy it at that price since you're my friend.
He's gonna catch me outside in the parking lot for that.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
You gotta be an OG to get Jaeger stuff. You gotta be an OG.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, because that stuff now is at like what, 3-4 times melt per ounce?
So I've seen Jaeger's stuff go close to $100 an ounce in some auctions. And you get the right people in there, they get a little crazy.
Okay. Yes, that's 4 times melt.
There's those gotta have it type people, man. And the stuff that she said is basically irresolute. It's not really arguable. It's true. It's like the grandfather version of poured silver. It's kind of what inspires people just kind of in a sense get into it, but it's more on an obtainable level than some of that stuff. That's like transcends into like historical art. That's like some like what was that movie with the mini cars in London? There was a big heist. It was anyway, it was kind of like a Ocean's 11 type gig, where these guys are, like if you get your hands on a $10 million coin, that could change everything, but even on the black market, I mean, that's got to be still at least worth about 3 or 4 million.
Last I heard that you bought that pre-33 gold piece for a couple mil.
For a couple mil, right? Yeah. It's just laying in the treasure chest with the rest of the raw bullion. But it's
Katie
crazy,
makes a good point where there are just certain key dates that, I mean, literally 6-7 figures, like them right off the bat. And mintages and slabbed and not slab also come into play. So with my next question, and I think everybody's
Charlie,
going to probably
if I can wrap up this last one real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
And I can kind of speak for both sides, because a lot of times I'll tell people I get a lot of questions at coin shows. New people come in, they're like, "How do you price this?" At the end of the day, whether it's coins or bullion, it's really up to what somebody's willing to pay. There's just because you offer something for a price doesn't mean it's actually worth that. I mean, I've offered stuff knowing it's not going to sell for 3 times what it's worth because I don't want to sell it, But at the end of the day, like, for example, I collect a lot of weird pieces of plastic, a lot of weird slabbed items and memorabilia from that nobody else cares about. But at the end of the day, it's really what somebody's, if somebody's willing to pay $10 million, if they're willing to pay 10 million, that could be for a rare coin, that could be a piece of bullion. So at the end of the day, it's, if you like it and you're willing to pay that much, then that establishes the value.
I could imagine some beautiful sculpture made by somebody, lost wax cast, made out of pure gold that could end up being worth that,
There's a good artist who I think you might like very well, named Silver Akula Vlad. He makes these
amazing,
beautiful silver bonsai trees, which I thought like, oh, that's pretty cool. I asked him what's the price, and he told me the price, and I'm like, it's totally worth it.
Right? It's one of those art things, the more art, and that's what's great about the numismatics too. But it's just like, it's like art. It's like you said, there's only so many of certain things, and once you can somehow market it, basically, as somebody who pours it, like to run it back too, I was happy to make 5 or 10, if I was lucky, dollars an ounce on my poured stuff just for the labor and stuff and supply costs. But like, I actually had the opposite. Sometimes I would see, me throwing a prototype up for auction and getting like 3 or 4 times the amount I thought I deserved, even, just because people were like so about it, and certain people just wanted to have it. And it, like you said, sometimes people get a little crazy, man. They just want to be the guy that gets it,
I think there's always like one key word, especially when it comes to poured silver. Anytime you have prototype attached to it, like, people go bananas. They're like, I need that. Nobody's gonna beat me out of that. You put a bid in higher than someone else, and they'll like want to punch you right in the throat. Like, I'm taking that home. Another piece of question I guess I have, and maybe Isaiah, you can help me with this, right? Because another big key word that always, pops up and people get a little crazy, they perk up, is when they hear error. So like, I have this right here. It is a 1990 mint error, reverse struck through. I don't even remember, to be honest with you. I don't remember where I got this, but I saw error and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask like $500 for this coin. I wouldn't even know how to price it or come up with a value for this.
This is a classic example, and I'm going to geek out here for a minute because this is my real passion, is errors and mistakes. But really, and this is where what I was saying a little bit earlier, it's beauty in the eye of the beholder, and it's what somebody's willing to pay. I mean, somebody might come up and be like, that's a messed up piece of silver. I wouldn't even pay, regular money for it. A lot of people tend to downgrade pricing for that. But on the other hand, there's crazy people like me that are going to pay moon money for that because it's a one-off mistake. It's especially not intentional. Machine errors happen. But when you're a modern mint facility or a pour artist, I've seen wild pig pours and MK. Every once in a while, you're a pour artist. Eventually, you're gonna accidentally mess up a stamp, or you're gonna mess up part of the pour. And to somebody that likes to collect the weird stuff, I guess, for lack of a better term, weird, but the one-offs and the prototypes, that too, I kind of put that under the error category as well. For the one-offs like that, when you get 2 people that really want them, you throw price guides out the window, and it becomes what somebody's willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
$500, kid. $500. You let me know. I hook you up.
I was at the coin shop in Ridgewood last week talking to the 2 guys that are there all the time, and one of them was telling me his interests in rare coins and oddities, mint errors and stuff like that. And he was saying exactly that the things he collects are the things that don't have a price guide value, that no one will actually have a solid price on what it is. And he says that's his area of collecting.
It always comes down to the fun of the hunt, right? You want, anybody can go get a silver eagle, or they can get a Britannia. Like, it's no big deal. To go for the hunt, that makes it part of the fun as well. Absolutely. So I'm gonna have to ask everybody. I gotta know, for my personal benefit, right? I always like to know what people are stacking. The community wants to know. What are your favorite pieces to stack at the moment. I've been all over the place. Like anything dragon related, I will always buy.
Oh man.
But I've been silver,
Right.
I've been gold, I've been numismatics, I've been poured, slabs, NGC, PCGS. Like I've kind of gone all over the place. So I always like to know what are people's favorite items to collect. Logan, well, let's go with you first. You're super excited, man.
Yeah. A marks, man. Like the antique ports. Those things are so cool. The little 1 ouncers and stuff. Like, that's it. That's all I even need to say. Like,
Damn, those are nice. Those are pretty cool.
you
Ain't gonna
know,
lie. Katie, what
that's
about
just
you?
cool.
I'm right now more into collecting than stacking. It's been kind of a shame. Like I like buying and selling things, but I really haven't been selling much lately, just because everything I've been buying is cool stuff.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah,
Good
even the
problem.
stuff that's like that I'm like, oh, I could like I got this for a really good deal. I could totally flip this and like make a pretty penny on it. I'm also like, oh, but if I sit on this for even longer, or if I submit this for grading, like I'll get even more out of it. So I'm not so much stacking anything right now. I'm collecting. I'll say my main collection that I'm working on just for fun right now is filling up this old Capital Plastics holder.
That is
Pretty
cool.
Yeah, with it, which is my
Get it.
19th century typeset.
That's smart.
That is
But even
cool.
that,
Very
thanks.
nice.
But like, so I know I got all the like kind of common stuff right off the bat, and I'm like, okay, next, now that I can, I should go after some of the harder to get stuff because it's only going to get increasingly harder. So with that, I've been like, oh, I need to get a trade dollar. But I know that there's more counterfeits than genuine ones around, so I need to get a slabbed one so that I have a slightly better chance of knowing that it's genuine. And I'm like, oh, if I can get like a cleaned or detailed slabbed one, I can crack it out of the slab, know it's genuine, and put it in my capital holder. But then I ended up accidentally winning a low straight grade old annex cased trade dollar. I'm like, well, crap, I got a really, really good deal on this thing. But it's not filling the need I have of cracking it and putting it in this holder. So that's my recent fun story of my newest pickup.
Cool. I like that. That's a good
Isaiah, what
little
about you?
Yeah, so I've been stacking rare coins. I guess I could say stacking rare coins and bullion actually. So this is one of my, let me find the camera here. This is one of my newest pickups. It's an 1871 San
seated
Francisco
dollar?
half dollar. But it is so amazingly original. I just, right at the beginning, Charlie, while you were doing the intros, I posted the PCGS
That's so
photo
cool.
of this on my
Is it a
Instagram.
VF?
It's a VF30,
Golly.
but it is just so original.
Nice.
It's just beautifully original.
Cool.
And then stacking wise, I mean, so Charlie has his dragons. I was born in 2001. That'll date me. I'm a pretty young collector.
Little baby.
Stacker. But so Year of the Snake stuff. Anything that's Year of the Snake, I eat that stuff up.
I'll trade you any
And
dragon
then
stuff
other
you
than
get.
that,
I'll give you the snakes.
yeah, other than
The Year
that,
of the Dragon too, man.
stacking wise, I've been at the fun show, I had one of my good friends that does hobo carvings. I had her take a Britannia, I think this is a 21 Britannia, and had her carve Iron Man into it. And then I
That
put
is
a
That's
pendant.
cool. Right
That
on.
So this is
Sick.
a custom
Time
ordered
out.
1 of 1.
That's on a bezel too. That's up for a medallion type gig, right? That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I was gonna roll into next, man.
Mhm.
That's another thing I like doing, and for everybody that watches this, I think you will find that some of the stuff that you fall in love with and you turn into kind of like jewelry, you'll probably end up keeping that like probably the longest, just because like it's a positive negative. You get to wear it and show it off, but then it gets used. So they kind of, unless somebody wants that necklace or that pendant, then it's like, okay, it's once again we go back into what they're willing to pay. But typically, it kind of loses a little value when you wear it as jewelry. From my experience.
Isaiah,
Or in
what's on your
this
neck?
case, or in this case,
becomes rare.
increases the value quite a bit.
Yeah, I would agree.
But no,
That's
yeah.
very
So,
true.
I mean, I call myself a numismatist, but I guess maybe this betrays it a little bit. This is a fraction. This is a 2015 fractional panda.
Oh.
So I've got a fractional
Yeah.
panda. I couldn't bring
See,
myself.
this is where I
to
turn
it.
into you. This is what I wear every day. It's a drachma. 2,000
nice.
years old.
Mhm.
$500.
I've got a Liberty Head quarter eagle that I wear.
Everybody's
found
rocking
it-
their jewelry. I'm
Yeah,
left
where you
out.
at, Charlie? What's your problem, bro?
I'll just take my shirt off now. That's it. This whole
Here,
thing is over.
Charlie,
It's
I got a
done.
Morgan
Oh, it's
for
covered
ya.
in jewels and,
I got a
and,
Morgan
and,
for you.
There we
and
go.
coins.
It's
Look
funny
at
because
that.
I was never really into jewelry, but I had Alyssa make me a really nice dragon pendant. So I have that in my room. I do wear that pretty often, and I got Silver Saint to make a Saint Michael's cross as well. That I kind of keep all of that stuff on there. And it's a cool talking piece as well. They're like, "Oh, where'd you get that?" I tell her, "Hey, it's custom made stuff." I'm just like looking over because we talk about stacking. I got everything. It's like killing me, but it's all over the place. My favorite thing right now are these little silly Marvel chibis.
Those are cool. The chippies, it's a whole little craze in its own, man.
It is, and the only reason I like them is they come with a nice box to store them and hide them away so they don't get damaged. And
It's kind of like that comic stuff, man, or the shoe collecting. It's like it's a whole different type of niche of silver. It's so cool,
I like
bro.
them as they come with a nice. The Scottsdale Biblical series. I mean, these things are like super killer now.
That's pretty neat.
I love the comments. We got a bunch of funny stuff coming in. Everybody's making fun. Charlie, step your game up. Go get a pendant now. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get like 50 messages. Yo, you want to buy a pendant? You want to buy a ring? Want to buy a pendant? Want to buy a ring?
Oh, speaking of coin rings, I've got a 40% Kennedy here coin ring. I bought a bunch of them. Shout out to J Baby's Coins. J Suds was his old account. I bought a bunch of coin rings from him. Stand up member.
So it's fun. We actually have a separate challenge on Instagram. It's kind of like a group within a group. The ring challenge, which is gonna be popping out this year. A whole bunch of people who do poured silver are all designing cool, kick-ass custom rings. We do like a little giveaway and some prizes, but it's one of the reasons why I created the channel. Just a way to bring people together, pass information. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hey, this, that. So it's a nice way to kind of like bring people together.
Memento Mori ring. 999.
That is sweet.
There we go. Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I think I got it upside down. There it is. If that'll show, I don't know.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
a fun ring. Yeah, TD Revolution.
Oh, they got the dog.
Oh, there we go.
Let me guess, the dog is blinged out with silver now, right?
I wish. We'll get
Even the
there.
dog, Charlie. Even the dog.
Even the dogs got silver. I'm gonna get Vicky a nice little silver chain to wear too.
Yeah, man.
So, folks, we're kind of wrapping this up. Great talking with everybody. We talked about bullion, about numismatics. I think at the end of the day, we all agree we probably fall in one of these categories, if not both. We fall into the silver and the gold and numismatics and the bullion. I would
It's
think
definitely not so much more one or the other, but like allocation into each.
yeah, once you start, you're not going to stop, and it's a good, fun hobby to be in.
Found that out the hard way.
Yeah.
Yep,
I
I went to college, and
Rabbit holes.
collecting, stacking. When I went to college, kind of took a backseat my freshman year, and then COVID hit, and being stuck at home, I'm like, well, I enjoy collecting, so I started collecting again, and
Ramped it up.
I would be
Nice.
lying if I said I didn't think about dropping out once or twice this year to go full time into coins.
You're thinking about how much money you're making, and you're like, wow, I could really, use that time, for that. But no, you're doing the right thing, man. It's good to see you in that place, man. You're in the right place. You got to struggle to get ahead,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And one thing about, collecting, stacking. If you hit hard times, if something happens, you're able to get liquid quick. Depending on what you collect, you could be liquid very quick.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't do that with a college
It's
degree.
not like super spinnable like money that burns a hole in your pocket, but it's liquid enough to where you can go to the right places very easily and get decent or great money for it and not lose money, you know?
Yeah, one of the things I found out. So I have two full-time jobs, and one of them I actually teach at a local college, and little by little I've done some small presentations, just kind of like an intro to collecting. I don't like to say investments because I don't know what the market's going to be a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. But it's nice to have that knowledge to kind of pass along to people as well. So we're gonna go through kind of closing remarks. We'll go through Isaiah, Logan, Katie. What do you want to finish off with?
I guess I'll take the wheel first. But to close, I guess I would say whether it's coins or bullion. I mean, like we've said earlier, it's not really one or the other. It's more of just where you put your money in. So at the end of the day, collect what you like. You might lose money on it, you might make money on it, but at the end of the day, if you like it, that's what makes this hobby so much fun. So it's collecting what you like, it's meeting people that share your same interests, But at the end of the day, just have fun with what you're doing. Have fun with what you're collecting. If you're pouring silver, have fun with that, It doesn't have to be all about making money.
Logan, closing remarks.
Yeah, or it can be. No, I'm just joking. No, it's a fun medium to play with, and it's a fun medium to play with, and I also just kind of want to keep it simple and just say thanks for having me, and it was nice being here with you guys. You guys are all lovely human beings, and this is awesome. Great talk.
Thank you. And Katie, fellow Brooklynite.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to second what Isaiah said. And you don't have to worry about whether you're making money or losing money if you're collecting something that you're interested in and that brings you joy. For me, it's very much like, this is fun, this is cool. I have friends over all the time. I get to talk to them about coins all the time because, like, what the hell is this? That's so weird. What's this on your neck? What's this on your wall? What are all these books on your bookshelf? So it's a fun conversation starter. And, like, even if all the coins I had in my collection were to be valued at 0 today, it'd still be cool. There's still fun things to look at. I'd still collect them. I'd still have them. And the fact that they hold on to some value, they're holding some wealth for me right now, is just like a bonus on top of that, because I'm already so into this just for the pure pleasure and enjoyment of it.
Awesome. Folks, once again, stay tuned, like, share, subscribe, do all that, cool, fun YouTube stuff the kids are doing these days. Make sure you spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. I do want to thank everybody for jumping in tonight. I really, really, really enjoyed having you all. I've been looking forward to this all week. It's always fun, kind of get away from just the craziness. So spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. Take care, everybody.